Hello, everybody. Welcome to a live stream. Haven't done one of these in a while, but we have pretty unique house, or not house, excuse me, hotel. And I'm staying here tonight. This is actually my room. Hopefully the connection is good. Let me know if the connection's good. Tell me, people. Tell me if the connection's good. Because I'm about to give you guys a tour of this place. We're staying here tonight. I'll let some people come in. But yeah, we're staying here tonight. This is a historic hotel. It opened in 1860 and it's still open to this day. And I'm staying in it tonight, and me and my buddy Chris were the only people inside this hotel right now. We talked to the owner of the hotel. We told him what we did, and he says, "That sounds cool. Feel free to explore the hotel, take some pictures, take some videos." And yeah, so here we are. I'm glad it isn't lagging. I'm gonna let some more people come into the stream. First of all, gonna throw me some questions. Ask some questions. We're gonna let some more people come into the live stream, and then we're gonna go. It's not abandoned. Chad, let me correct you and make this point. This place is not abandoned at all, but it is. It has historical. Well, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very historical. Is basically what I'm trying to say, and the architecture is amazing. It's very similar to other abandoned places I would go, or other places that I would go that are abandoned. Significance, thank you. Historical significance, that's the word I'm looking for. So as some more people come into the live stream, we're going to be walking around this hotel tonight, and hopefully you guys enjoy. It's a cute little 3-story hotel built in 1860, and it has a lot of cool characteristics. So maybe right now, got a lot of people in here. Show you guys the main lobby. Sorry for the connection. Perhaps being, I don't know, a little shaky. Because doing these live videos, kind of hit and miss sometimes. I love this room right here. Well, I'm not staying here alone by choice. I just booked the hotel, and turns out nobody else is staying in here. Nobody else booked a room for tonight. So, yeah, we're here by ourselves. A lot of the stuff that's inside the home dates back. Excuse me, not home. The stuff that's inside the hotel dates back to the 1860s. So we're going to be walking around. There is a bunch of really cool stuff here. And they have a setup for Christmas. We got a bunch of little trees. This place isn't important to me, but it is important in general just because how beautiful it is. Let me show you the main staircase because this is really like the best thing here. We have a spiral stair, or like a semi-spiral staircase. This place is rumored to be haunted, so yeah. Yeah, this is the staircase. We'll take a look up. I love the wallpaper here. Very vintage. Take a look all the way up here. So we have a few floors to get to. But before that, we're going to show you the front desk. We have some really cool things. If you guys watch my abandoned mountainside 1970s hotel video, we actually saw one of these abandoned inside of a hotel. This is a call connector. So people would call the hotel, and there'd be these wires, and they'd connect from the main lobby, and you would push this in here. These are blocked. You'd push this in here, and it would connect you to whatever room. So this would be the person behind the desk, aka the operator. Pretty cool. Cool skeleton keys. Okay, maybe we'll check out the first floor entirely. Yeah, this little hallway here. It's always pretty creepy. I don't know why. Get weird feelings in this one. And we have a dining room, which is beautiful. Pretty cool. This coffee running, so we still have the smell of coffee in here. So this is the lobby. Yeah, look how beautiful this is, guys. Now we're gonna head upstairs. My buddy Chris is up there. He's live on TikTok right now. You could follow him on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok at urbex and chill. I'm pretty sure that's it for this floor. Maybe we could show you a little bit more of the small little details here. Like check out this lamp. It's very unique. The furniture is really nice. I do not have any ghost equipment because Sherry, quite frankly, I do not believe in it. But we're gonna head up these stairs. Got a pineapple on the wall. The third floor is completely pitch dark. So that'll be kind of fun exploring. Hey, there's Chris.
Oh, so it says this one. So we find a ghost, it'll happen. Okay. Stop right here. Okay, so this is like a TikTok ghost filter.
Why is it a ghost filter?
Apparently, if there's a human or a face detected, it goes rainbowy. Look. See, that was you.
Okay.
So, guess we just walk around and hopefully something happens.
Well, I'm going to explore the rest of this second floor, then we'll move on to the third eventually.
Okay.
And by the way, we are alone. As in, there's no other guests. So we're going to be passing rooms. Nobody is in here. But there are some rooms are still open. Like this one. Has a 150-year-old door creaking right there. Of course, there's vintage, or not vintage, but newer TVs in here. This is one of the rooms. Pretty modern hotel. Nice, really high ceilings, though. We have a nice vintage dresser. I got the opportunity to explore by just booking a hotel room and just happening to be the only person excuse me, the only person to book a room. So the guy said, hey, he likes what me and my buddy do, and he said, feel free to explore, feel free to take pictures, and yeah, pretty much that's it. Yeah, vintage flat screen, right? Yeah, I mean, honestly, that little flat screen right there in the year 2020, that is vintage, so you're not wrong.
Ghost.
Ghost. This is like the Shining hallway. Very creepy vibes. Walk down here a bit. Yeah, it's a cute little hotel. This place, I mean, it's not abandoned by any means, so nobody get your hopes up. But yeah, I just thought this place was cool. I think there's another hotel room open over here. No, that one's locked. Yeah, I'm not ghost hunting. He's kind of just saying that as a joke. We're not really ghost hunting. We're pretty skeptical of that. There's another one, room 21. Scott Taylor with a connector. Let's hop in that one real quick. Looks like that even goes farther. There might be a third room. That'd be awesome. Oh, where's the light switch in here? I don't see one. Here we go. This is a cool room. I like this one. I wish I kind of stayed in this one. Have a fireplace, and all the dressers are vintage. Like these are this is really 150 years old. Oh, that's just a bathroom in there. We won't go in there. I saw some vintage bathrooms downstairs. They look pretty cool. Maybe we'll check those out. Yeah, the backstory, it doesn't go too far back, honestly. It's 150 years old. That's really all I know about it. The guy was expressing how this just basically was a hotel in the area. I mean, that's creepy. There's like a storage room. No one's really staying in here. Just a bunch of garbage. It honestly, this place, it kind of smells like an abandoned building, which is weird. Has like a very musty, stagnant air type of feel to it. Let's see what's going down here. Going into the darkness here. We have a winding staircase that goes up to the attic or the third floor. Oh, it's dark up there. We just have a creepy red light on. It says employees only, so I don't know if he wants us up there or not. Damn, I wish I had my flashlight because it's pitch dark. Doesn't smell like sulfur, no. That would be a big red flag, and also a red flag of why there's no one else in here. Let's turn these lights off. I don't want to crank the electric bill in this place. Okay. Okay. Let's check out that staircase, go to the third floor, and maybe we'll just do some Q&A. I don't really know. I haven't done a live stream in a very long time. Here's a cool lamp. It's pretty unique. Ooh, 1763. Wow. That's really old. Look at this. Yeah, I don't live stream often, so take it while it's here. Maybe once a year I do one. Honestly, it's hard to go live streaming in abandoned buildings because there's no Wi-Fi, no internet. All right, let's head up to the third floor. I do not have my light, my flashlight that is, and I don't know how dark it's going to be up here, and I, once again, can't use my flashlight on this. It's a little creepy up here. This is the third floor. We'll walk to the end of this hallway, but I don't know if we'll find anything else. Invisibility is going to be minimal. Oh, we have another room open. Oh my god, so creepy. I can't see where the light is. This is tough. Oh, this is scary. I can't see what's even in front of me right now. I'm closing the door. I'm kind of sketched out. I can't even see where the light switch is. I don't even want to walk in there. My phone has a flashlight, but you can't use it while you're on YouTube Live. Okay, here we are at the end of this hallway. Creepy. Creepy. This is the staircase we just looked up. This place wasn't expensive. This is actually one of the cheaper hotels in the area. Only reason why I kind of booked it. I didn't even see all these pictures of the inside. Like usually you see pictures of places before you book them. I just saw pictures of the room and I booked it. I didn't see any of this cool stuff. But we're gonna head back to the bottom floor. That's pretty much the whole hotel. It's a cute little place. and we'll just chillax. If you guys want to ask some questions, I'll stay on here for, I don't know, 10, 15 more minutes. See what happens. So feel free to ask any questions. Ooh, the wood was weak there. Hotel was built in 1860, so it's about 160 years old. Here we are back in the main lobby. I'm sure some people are checking in now, haven't seen this main lobby. We'll give you a perspective. Yes, I am staying in this hotel alone. Got some people on the porch. It's probably the owner right there. So if people didn't see this, this is I think people in the comment in the stream team, they said this is a transmitter. So people would call in to the hotel and they'd get their calls transferred by just connecting like that. This is some old vintage stuff right here. Also another telephone and some mints. I'll take one. Dining room. This room is, I think personally, this room is the best in the whole place. We actually have some stained glass right there and there. And the wallpaper is pretty beautiful. I get really joyful vibes in here. This is the room I'm staying in. I do like coffee, yes. Yeah. Oh, there's my buddy. Yeah, it's a pretty simple room. I like how all the cabinets and everything in here. You could tell these are vintage.
How many viewers you got?
I got about nearly 200 people on my stream.
Damn, I have 300.
I'm gonna show you guys some of these bathrooms down this cool hallway. They're pretty cool. I would give the location out, but I'm staying in this place right now, and I don't know if that would be a great idea to give out the location where I'm currently at, just in case anybody. I don't know. I have no idea what the internet has in its back pocket. You never know. Here's a cute little bathroom. Nice little retro bathroom here. Pretty cool vibes. Got some ducks chilling. That's weird. It's like a duck and like it's a ghost. I don't know, it's like faded. It's so weird. So yeah, we got a cool little bathroom here. Urinal. I like the tiles on the floor. And my socks. See what else is over here. I didn't go this way yet. Just have another angle of the dining room. This place, oh, by the way, this place isn't abandoned for people joining right now. This place is active and I'm staying in here tonight. And the owner was super cool. He told us some of the history. He said he was asking us what we do while we're in the area, because right now traveling during COVID is a little shaky. And we told him that we go to abandoned places, we go to closed down facilities, and we document them. And it's a pretty safe thing to do during COVID-19, considering you're not around anybody. So yeah, he said feel free to explore this place, go anywhere you want, and take some pictures and videos and send it to him. I don't think I'm gonna be taking anything with my camera, just here on my phone. Walked around this whole place, took some cell phone pictures. So yeah, let me turn the light off in here. I feel bad leaving the lights on. A lot of noises in this room. I think it's just the heat kicking in. The knocking coming from the bathroom here. Like I said. Very weird. I think it's just the heat kicking in, like I said. Ooh, this might be cool. Tub? Nope, just a shower. What would make this hotel cool if it was a clawfoot tub in here? I feel like it's missing that. Anyway, yeah, it could be a ghost. I'm filming on my camera, but I mean, I'm inside of a building, so. And I'm not connected to Wi Fi, so connection's probably shaky. Alright, so guys, I'm done exploring this hotel for now. I might stick around for 10 to 15 minutes. If you guys want to ask some questions while I'm on here, feel free to answer them. So start throwing them in, start asking some questions, because I don't go live often, so take this opportunity while you got it. I'm not saying the name because I'm staying here tonight, and I don't want I don't know. I don't want people coming through. I don't want people contacting the owner while I'm here. I don't feel safe. I don't know if the owner wants any of that attention. So, yeah, as always, location will remain anonymous just for the better sake of the location itself. I'm 24 years old and I'm still trying to open this mint. What is the funniest item you've ever found exploring? You find like sex toys sometimes. That's kind of weird. It's kind of funny too. I don't know why they're in the places I go to. I don't know who uses them either. Stay out of 237. It's some mint that I got from the front desk. What part of the country I'm in? I'll answer that. I am on the East Coast, United States. I'll also say I'm one of the 13 original colonies of the United States. That's all I'm saying. For now. Got another old cabinet here. Got some books in there. Got a cool, look at this. Look at this lion carved into this cabinet. It's really cool. Dude, don't spam. Who am I spamming? I never spam. It's not vacant. This is just a regular hotel, active. I don't know why nobody's staying in this place. This place is amazing, honestly. Really cool vibes. Yeah, you got to keep places anonymous, or else say this place was abandoned and I start a video and I give out the name in the first 2 minutes of it. Anybody that lives in that area is going to go to that hotel, including people who are interested in the history and pictures like I am, people who are interested in vandalism, people who are interested in theft. So you keep these places anonymous and none of that happens. And for the most part, they stay untouched for years on years on years, just like they really should be. Is there a nicer ceiling? You know what? I'll show you the ceiling right now, Fryer. There is a drop ceiling, but I don't think it goes too far up. It's ugly though, I give you that. It's really ugly. I can't stand that. I'm not ghost hunting people. Pilgrim State. I know Pilgrim State. I grew up on Long Island, so I know Pilgrim State. Good night, Casey. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you tune in next year when I go live again. It does not. This place does not have Wi-Fi. At least I didn't see any in the ads.
Hey, we do have Wi-Fi actually.
You do have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay.
If you'll see Ocean House Guest.
Uh-huh.
It's just my telephone number. It's actually posted right at the desk as well.
All right. Sweet. This place is awesome, man.
Oh, cool.
It's amazing. I love it. I love all the detail.
Yeah, this what's wild is the spindles are the same length. So it's like it's considered a floating staircase. So like
Ooh.
the fact that this landing here,
doesn't have like anything underneath it. It's just
Right.
like cantilevered. Is what makes it like significant. I guess that whole span right there doesn't have anything underneath it.
Right.
But yeah, this was where we were gonna. If you were a couple, we were gonna put you in here.
No, that's a nice room. I'm surprised no one else is in here right now staying the night.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat back like our. In the beginning of the season, when we were allowed to open and stuff was like still kind of sketchy traveling,
Right.
It was a lot of like younger travelers, which I think like our typical clientele will skew older,
Yeah, I could see that.
But it was great because we actually picked up a bunch of reservations. Actually, do you feel like taking a walk?
Let's do it.
I hope this door's open. What was I saying? We were talking about
The clientele, the younger clientele.
Oh yeah. So we like this summer, I think like the majority of the people that were traveling were.
What's in there? Anything good?
No, just that light is on for whatever reason. I'm not sure. We took all the remotes are like wireless, like to the fan, and we took all the things off there last winter, and reprogrammed them all.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still getting some that are like picking up from other ones, or they're just being funky, or.
Well, that's what happens with an old place.
Yeah. So I just finished up outside, and I'm like just kind of
Looking at the
up and
windows.
looking at the windows and everything. I saw there's like a light on, so I'm like, all right. So yeah, did you guys do like we try to like do scary stuff too?
No, not really.
Yeah.
We're kind of like spectacle, but we're not too like, we don't believe in that stuff too much. We've been
Right.
to a lot of places like hospitals, asylums, like tens of, if not hundreds, and like we never experience anything.
Right.
We might go into a place and we feel like we feel like it's off in there,
Right.
but we never have experiences. So
And
we never really like believed in that just because of that.
Do you but it's like you go there during the day. It's not like you're trying to get yourself.
Yeah, no, we're not really trying to get scooped out. But day, night, whatever we is when we pull up.
Being in like an abandoned building that's got some creepy stories to it. Do you
Yeah.
ever like try to look stuff up on Weird New Jersey or?
Oh yeah, for sure. We've definitely found places from there. A lot of those places though, they publish it for the public. So when they publish it, it just blows up. So you get a bunch of kids that go there and they destroy the place. They vandalize. So like a lot of those places we kind of steer clear from. We like walking into like an abandoned house that was like vacated 40 years ago, and you go in there and everything is the same. Like everything, it's just like walking back in time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like what's his name's house in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Right.
The Ray. What the hell is that?
I forgot. I haven't seen that movie in a very long time.
I actually, we have young kids, so I actually watched it with my daughter the other day.
Oh, there you go.
Not that long ago. Ray Finkelstein or something.
Something like that.
Ray Finkel.
Any crazy history happen here? Like anything of like, I don't know, like you said creepiness, like anything creepy, any like stories or anything?
Not like nothing, you know, creepy stories. There was just the place. It's 1878. It was built, and so um, we there was a family that ran it from like 29 to 79, and we've done a bunch of stuff for them. Over the years, and then their kids and rehearsal dinners for their kids, and
Right.
we just did a repass for the oldest daughter, and so they kind of saw a ton of change,
Right.
and they've given us like a majority of like the history and stuff like that we have on it, and like there was a couple times, like they had like crazy, like back in the day, like just card playing was like the thing, and they
Yeah.
would like bring all their staff from the south
Uh-huh.
up, and this place they would do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and
Mm.
so you know you would go, like they would say, like you go like you know 10 minutes from here right into like Wall Township, you'd buy like a pig,
Uh-huh.
they would slaughter it, and then they'd bring it back here and like butcher it, and where our outdoor shower is like was the drain for like where their cutting station
Wow,
was,
okay.
and
Yeah.
uh so like they had all this staff, and then like that time period there was like all these like big hotels going on. So there's a cool picture down here, but like there would be like all this staff that would be here for these hotels in the summer, and so you'd get like sketchy, not sketchy, but the owner of this place, it's like this hotel was gone. This is like the Monmouth Hotel. That's still there, the Essex and Sussex, but like all this structure is gone now.
What happened to it?
They put in a parking lot, and like that was like for like a lot of the staff
Uh-huh.
living quarters and
Right.
stuff. This hotel, the Warren Hotel's gone, and so and then that's us there.
Oh, all right.
And so like there's a house across the street. Like the kids that grew up here were like, oh yeah, like we played football on this yard like all the time, and that was like their playground. But yeah, like they would play cards. Like my buddy's father grew up hanging out with like one of the Taylor kids, and he grew up like hanging out in the driveway. He's like, oh, I just remember like that Coke machine being back there.
Like a vintage one?
Yeah, and then my buddy's mom who grew up in town like learned how to dance in that back like
Oh,
living
wow.
quarters where they were.
So there's a lot of memories here. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then like there's like the guy Billy Moore who was here for years. He like would wait tables and do everything. He's like big, huge black guy, do night watch and stuff, and like the guy that would come over and tell all these stories, like he'd be like sitting right. His spot was kind of like right where we have that mirror out there.
Mm-hmm.
He'd just be leaning back in his chair, and he'd be like, he'd come in, and he'd be like, kind of lean forward and be like, "What are you doing?" Hey Billy, and then. But they said like one time like he caught somebody cheating, and then like like
In a game of cards.
yeah, in the back, and like
Uh-huh.
they came running up to the owner, and they're like, Mr. Taylor," and like he had him up off the ground like choking him.
Wow.
He's like, put him down, and he like blew up his hand, and he's like, we got to go to the hospital. So he like took him to the hospital. He's like, that was when he's like, no more like people that we don't. Staff can play cards, but that's it. Like
Yeah.
no outside people. But like yeah, it's there's definitely like not like so much creepy story. I mean, there was like one. They definitely have like there was a housekeeper that passed here,
Mm-hmm.
and so whenever there was ever anything that like eerie or something,
They would
like
say
that,
it's him.
yeah, or her.
Her.
But yeah, like there was like two kids. For some reason, they were on like separate floors of like the owners. I don't know if it was like one of the owners' kids, and the mom like just got this like woke up out of a dead sleep and was like, I gotta go check on the kids, and like went and go check on the kids, and like one of them was dying from SIDS.
Uh-huh.
She was able to like revive them, and like they were always
Wow.
convinced that the housekeeper was the one that like came and woke her up,
Right.
you know. And
Yeah.
then there was what was another oh, like a girl, this was in the 80s, her grandparents owned it, and she said like someone broke into like the back door where she was like, it's our part of our living quarters now. She was sleeping in this room like right there, and she said she woke up and like she was a kid, but someone was like over her with their hand over her mouth, and then like all of a sudden they freaked out and just like ran out of the building, and
Whoa.
she was convinced that like it was the housekeeper that like came and scared the shit out of them.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, so like nothing but always, you know, stuff like that, but then, you know, crazy stuff like there's like a black dude that was an electrician, Knuckles, that was from Asbury Park, and he came here and like put a spotlight in, and then later that day, guest like leaned up on the wall over like outside on the other side of that wall over there, and like got like shocked, and he like told the owner, he's like, hey, I just leaned up against the wall over there and like picked up a chart, like got shocked, like I don't know. And like the owner like went to his son who like told me all these stories, and he's just like, why would that, you know, why do you think that could happen? And he's like, well, you know, Knuckles was here putting in that spotlight, let's go check that out. And I guess the screw that he used to put the ground in or whatever like caught
A wire?
the mesh. Yeah, caught a wire, but then when it like caught the wire, and then when he put it in, it was like in the mesh of like the stucco.
Uh-huh.
So that mesh that they stucco everything is the whole encapsulates the whole building. So essentially
The entire
whole
building was
electrified. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they're like, Knuckles, you gotta get back here. But I mean, I just can't imagine, you know, it's like 3 meals a day. So it's like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And like, you know, they had a lot of staff, but you're kind of like, it's amazing to think of like the amount of like work that would take, you know.
Right.
And then like they said, like that, you know, they didn't even have like a printer then, so like you had to print all those menus. Like the mom would be like up here, and they had some like form of like a photocopier, but like you had to set all the tiles or something.
Yeah.
And it was like this big process, and they're like, oh my god, I just remember my mom like out there till like all hours, just like
Making the
menus up for the next day.
Wow.
And so yeah, it's cool. I mean, there's like, when you hear like all those stories from that family, it's like, you know, you kind of are like, all right, like it's fallen on to me to kind of like watch over this place and make sure that everything's all right while it's underneath our care, you know?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to kind of definitely have this place like still be here for them to like come back to and be like, oh, like, you know, this is what
Relive the
talk
memories
to their grandkids. Yeah, you know, I mean, there's people that have been coming here, not even them, like they, you know, they owned it, so it's like a little bit more personal, but there's people that have been guests here before. You know, my folks bought it in 98, so that's been 22 years. And so you know, there's people that came here before they even
owned it. Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, like they'd be like, oh, you know, like this cubby up here was like where the telephone was, you know? And they'd be like, yeah, so like this was kind of where everyone would really like hang out, you know, because they'd either be like waiting for a phone call.
Oh, right here. This is where the telephone was. Okay.
You know? So really kind of cool to like think about like how, you know, that, you know, that would be like down here, and like this was the actual switchboard. It wasn't. It was on the
Yeah.
other side of there.
Yeah, I've been in hotels upstate New York. We found switchboard just like that,
Yeah.
decayed in the building, just still there.
And
And
what's
it's
what's
crazy.
crazy is those things. If you're ever in a building like that, like pull it out of there.
Save it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's got some value to it, especially it's a Bell Lab, so it's like, you know, for like anybody that either worked on one of those, like, I can't tell you how many people are like, oh my God, like I worked one of those when I was like in high school, or,
Right.
you know, like, and so there's value in that, but they, you know, there's that thing was down in the basement. My folks
Really?
put it up here, and yeah,
Wow.
put it up here, and it's like that's still our phone number, and yeah, there's the 3 phone lines are still the same phone lines now. They're just 2 phone lines and a fax line. You know?
That's wild that it was just sitting down there.
Yeah, just collecting dust, and then it's definitely, I think the appraiser put a value somewhere around like 10 grand on that thing.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, and supposedly, if you actually
It's in great
found
condition.
the right person,
Yeah.
who really wanted to buy it, you might be able to get more for the thing. But
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. The girl that told that story about someone like waking up to that guy, she claims that this like no personal calls is from her, from like when her grandparents were here.
Wow.
But then like, yeah, like those guys, like the tailors, when they're here, like they can show you like, okay, yeah, you plug this wire into here, and then you turn this switch, and then they show all the grandkids and stuff when they're here. We actually have to do another repass, unfortunately, for one of the kids' wife passed. So they're going to be coming up when things kind of are a little bit more loud, and spread our ashes and then do a little repass here, and so I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot of the stories again. Yeah.
Right.
It's so funny. One time I was laying down on the couch in the back, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna put my board shorts on and go like run and jump in the ocean. And then sure enough, I hear like, hello? And it was Dickie. And like he came up, and like his sister, he's down in Georgia, his sister came up here from Florida underneath hospice care, and she passed on the way up. So he was driving up to like visit her, and then she passed like on his drive up. So they had, by the time like everyone gets in from all over the place, it was like a good week that he was here, and he'd come over for coffee every day and hang out. Like you could tell, like he just loved like guests being here. Like anytime a guest would like come to the room, like he'd be smiling and like ready to like talk to him, and so yeah, sure enough, he's like, hello, like, and this is like in our back living quarters, and I'm like, oh, like, hey, what's up, man? Like, what are you doing? And he's just like, oh, did I catch you? What are you napping? I'm like, oh, I'm just getting my board shorts on. I was just gonna go jump in the water. And he's like, oh yeah, and then like 2 hours later of like good stories about the ocean house, I was like, all right, I guess I'm not gonna go take a trip.
Right?
Because I just was there like hanging out, talking to him, and he's just telling me all this like, just different like the Knuckles story and all that, and I'm like, all right, this is really more valuable, like learning about this stuff,
Right.
than, like going and taking a swim.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, it was like too funny. Just like, there you go. I've been known to tell a long story myself, so it's only fitting that
You got to spread the history, though. You gotta,
yeah, no,
you got to keep it alive.
It's very true. It's wild. It's like there's a guy that wrote a book on Seagirt and Spring Lake and like all these people that like build these places, and his second book was on like women innkeepers, which a woman actually built the Ocean House. And like in that time period, to be a woman and like have the money to do that and
Unheard of.
yeah, because like even if you were widowed and your husband had like a bunch of money, unless like he said like I wanted to go to my wife, then it would go to like his family, you know. And so, you know, she built it, and then it was actually her kids that like operated it. But yeah, this guy like he was like, yeah, I'm writing this book, you know, I'm wondering if you have any history, and then I'm like, yeah, well, you know, we know like blah blah blah, and then the next like the guy's just he goes through society pages and looks up like all these people who owned it when and what they did, and you know, it was really neat. Like this time period, a lot of the people were Quakers that were building here, and like they would operate the place, where there was like bankers that would be like the new money that
Right.
would hire someone to like operate it for them. And so there was kind of, you know, like Margaret Devine was more on that Quaker side. Like they actually were here and they operated it, very similar to like the Taylor family and everything, and then us. But yeah, you know, like it's wild to think of being like just commissioning this place to be built, and then like, you know, late 1800s, like them buying all that lumber. Like he told a story of like it was a private company that put on that Philadelphia Exposition, which was like the World's Fair. And so they're like, all right, let's auction off all this lumber. We'll get like the most amount of money for by auctioning it.
Right.
And so sure enough, all the people that are building these hotels here in Spring Lake,
They bought it.
they bought it all, but they got together ahead of time and like went through their materials lists and essentially like colluded with one another and like, okay, I'm not going to bid against you, you don't bid against me, and then they bought the lumber for like 20 cents on the dollar, and like the private company
They stole it.
sold it, yeah, the company that put it on and like sold the lumber like went bankrupt.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that worked.
because like all these guys, you're like typical like Jersey, Philly, like we're gonna just like get together ahead of time, and but yeah, it's wild. It's like it was very, you know, bit of the wild wild west, you know, like you can't like,
everyone for themselves.
Dickie was like, see this thing here? He's like, what do you think that was for? And we're like, I don't know, like, you know, mail or
maybe
bills or something like that. And he was like,
keys?
Back in the day, my dad would have like a little
for a gun.
Yeah.
I gotcha. For someone robbing the place. That's a smart ass.
Like,
that's a really smart move.
Blast him in the gut. So he had like a little like sawed off or something back
That
there.
is so badass.
Yeah. You're like, oh my God, really? And then you're like, well, shit, like 30s, 40s, you know, like you. It's like
everyone's robbing everything, robbing banks.
Like kind of like you don't know. Like people are like, how come you're not allowed to park on the streets overnight? And I'm like, it's an old ordinance, but I think it was just they didn't have a huge police force, and it just meant that like everyone who was in town would be in their driveway, and if you weren't in the, you know,
you're out for trouble.
Then your car was up there. You don't get people like sleeping in their cars,
right?
And yeah, sure enough. A bit, you know, I'm like, yeah, like, think about it. I mean, you got all these like big giant estates like sitting here. Half of them are empty. Like you want to kind of know who's in town, you know. But yeah, I think the Times one year did a story about how Spring Lake is like this sleepy old town, and nobody locks their doors at night.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there was like a rash of robbery. Like
following the article or whatever it was. Oh wow.
So they actually had supposedly there's been some more of that going on, where there's like people coming down from like Newark or somewhere with these like key fob, you know, like they're trying to find people with like that leave their fobs in their cars and stuff, and so. But yeah, last year we painted all these walls. We changed them. They used to be like a darker color, and then we lightened them all up. We painted the whole outside.
Oh, the outside wasn't always that color?
If not always, but then sure enough, we were gonna like change it, and then COVID happened, and we were like, you know what?
Yeah, you don't even
Then we're
bother
gonna
at
have
that
to,
point.
like, redo all our marking materials, and so we kept it the same. It looked once it's like when it was like it looked way better.
Uh-huh.
But
So it adds more historical value. I mean, in this area, everything else is like top notch. So to have it
it's
not
crazy.
like that is like a loss, I suppose.
We have a picture of the parlor room, and that table is like sitting in it from like 1943.
Wow. Yeah, I saw that lamp said like 1743
Yeah.
or something. That's really that old?
Yeah,
That's
that
wild.
was actually my my grandmother's. But it's crazy. A lot of this stuff came from our house, and my mom like reupholstered it, and but yeah, like she decorated this whole place. They furnished the whole thing. For the most part, they kept some pieces, but everything came. They either went and bought and went down to like High Point, or like this furniture was from their restaurant.
Mm.
It's like all made in like in Amish country.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's funny. I remember it from their restaurant. It was in Orangeburg, New York,
Uh-huh.
which is like kind of right over the New Jersey border.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, wild. Like they I can't believe they like got it and brought it back here, and it's been painted green. It was that natural, and then green, and then white, and
What, the inside you're saying?
so all this furniture in here. This is all handmade in Amish country. We're like my folks' restaurant that they owned in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
And so when they bought here, they went and got all this furniture from their restaurant, which is still there, and brought it here. And then my dad like had it painted green, and then he put some crazy painting on top. The guy that when they bought the place, they had this painter that did the whole first floor, and there's a way to paint where you can like marbleize things. So if you like look at this, this looks like it's like marble, right?
Yeah.
And it's wood. And like it's just a process of like painting that creates that marbleization.
Yeah, like I guess like blotching paint in certain patterns.
Yeah, or I think it's more probably something along those lines, but it's like allowing it to dry like a certain amount, and then
And
you
putting another
painting it,
one.
yeah, and then and so my dad was like, oh, and so sure enough, he kind of did his version of that
Uh-huh.
on the tables, and so and then painted over them, and then put like these stencils of like grapes and crap on there,
Yeah.
and couple of years ago, I'm like, all right, we gotta get this stuff off there, and so I sanded them all down and like painted them again.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's just taking it off, and then you get under there, and you're like, oh my
There's
god,
another
that's
coat.
right. There was green. It was green, and then you're like, oh, what's that? Oh yeah, like he put like they used to have those designs on, you know, and you're like, it's wild. Like all the porch furniture, just how the place kind of changes,
Yeah, over time.
and like do like the landscaping changing, like it's wild because we found these old pictures and our front entranceway used to have like a bunch of like taller stuff and we were redoing the stairs and like it was getting real crowded and I'm like, man, people aren't even gonna be able to like get through here with their bags. So like I cut those bushes back and then I'm like, oh my gosh, just stems. Like, let's pull these out of here. And I found this picture and it was actually their uncle and he was like sitting right on where we have those flower boxes.
Mm-hmm.
He was sitting right to the side of those steps and they didn't have the railings at that point in time. I guess you didn't have to have a railing and like the grass was kind of way further over and like that hedge was even with the floor of the porch.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, oh man, that looks so cool. Like you can see the whole, like you can see up here and see the door and everything. Like
it wasn't
so
covered,
much better.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can just, it opened up the whole front and I'm like, oh, like that's, so like
That's what you gotta do.
I pulled it all up and then we kept it all like so you could kind of see and then I trimmed the hedge down like a couple feet last year or the year before. And I'm like, man, I still want to bring it down lower. I'd like to almost get it to like that day where you're like,
Yeah.
and so sure enough, before I was like doing the hydrangeas and cleaning up the stuff, and I'm like, I'm freaking doing it. And
Yeah.
I just hacked into it. Then you're like, all right. And then like 5 minutes into it, I'm like, did I really just start doing this? And then I was just like, oh, my wife's gonna kill me. And so I was like, that's why I'm out there till like 10, so I can kind of be like, all right,
It's done.
yeah,
For the most
part.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of, and so it's funny because you see pictures of it and you're like, oh man, like look at that, like look at the front of the place, and then or like when my folks first bought it, it was like a paler pink and they had like turquoise shutters and stuff.
That's pretty cool. That's unique.
Yeah, it was definitely like
Gucci.
more 80s, not like, I mean, it was late 90s, so I guess more like 90s ish, like turquoise, white furniture out there. But yeah, it's neat to see like how it evolves and then even like, okay, how are we gonna kind of
transition?
Yeah, or like keep it going, keep it fresh, kind of keep, since I've been watching a lot of Cobra Kai. Did you know Karate Kid?
Nah, yeah, there you go.
Man. Well, my daughters are really into karate movies, so we watched Karate Kid the other day, and then I guess there's like Netflix has some show, and it's one of the dude's lessons was like he had him like climb into like a cement truck and like spin it and like be like if you don't like keep moving and stuff like you'll just get stuck,
Yeah.
And it's funny, like we have a ton of guests that come back every year and then they're like they notice every little thing you do, like you put a shelf in the room, they're like, oh, I love that shelf that you put in there, and you're like, oh my god, like you really do like notice all this stuff, so every little thing that you can kind of show them that you still care, you're still doing stuff to kind of,
you're not just stagnant,
Yeah.
A lot of places are just, they do the same thing and then they eventually close.
Yeah.
So, and then that's it. So
there's definitely where, you kind of, you get the feedback from people like, they're like, oh, if you're full or so. Yeah, we're lucky. I mean, I could see like my folks definitely got to, after they definitely were ready for like a help, and so luckily, I moved back and I met my wife. She's willing to like kind of, run this place and it's a ton of work. This is like our downtime, you know, and then it's like oh man, well, like we gotta get like Christmas stuff like going, you know, and so yeah, it's funny. It's like you kind of even the downtime feels busy, you know, but
Yeah.
it's good. It's we're fortunate, man. I couldn't imagine like this past summer, you know, that porch, it's 2,400 square feet, so like you know, it's 15 feet at its widest. So like we were like people could eat out here, and you know you could be here, someone's sitting over there, you know, like people were sitting all over the place. People are sitting over here, and it just was like, thank God we had this freaking porch. Like we built these screens, like opened all that, and it's just, you know, you we were so lucky because you know we kind of everyone. Luckily, people still wanted to be by the beach, be outside, be on that porch. Tons of guests being like, there's like I just thought of like being on your porch, and you know, like it feels like that's somewhere that I would feel comfortable, you know, and definitely like another place in town that's great. It's a nice place. You know, I drive by and like they have this like dining area, and like the windows are always like frosty and stuff, you know, and I'd always be like, oh man, it looks so nice and like air conditioned in there.
Right.
And then, like this year, you're like, ooh, I wouldn't want to, you know.
Yeah,
And
it's the perspective change.
yeah, it's like, oh my god, you know, like, and then, you know, I have an air conditioner in there, and just all the windows open, the doors open, and sure enough, like a couple of hot days, like some guys like all ready to like shut the door. He's like, hey, can I shut this door? It's like letting in a lot of hot air, and I'm like, no, dude, you can't. Everything I read is like fresh air.
Yeah.
You want like new air, like.
You don't want the exactly. Yeah.
So sorry, it's not as cold as you would prefer, but they're, you know,
it's better than the other result.
Yeah.
So,
And
there you
so
go.
yeah, it was just like too funny because, but yeah, you're like, you know, this Spring Lake, you know, and our place. I think if we were able to kind of muscle through this year, bodes well for
the future.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's amazing that, you know, in the spring, like I didn't know if anyone was going to travel. You know, there's people calling and canceling, and I'd be like, okay, well, like we can issue a voucher. It's good for 5 years, you know, and they'd be like, I can't imagine traveling ever again. And you're like,
that's what they said to you?
Some people, yeah. And you're like, okay, well then we're just going to charge you like what it costs us to process this. And they're like, okay. And so, you know, I didn't know what the hell you know, I was trying to figure out if we were just going to do like long-term rentals, like try to find like 15 of our best guests or like people that we really like good regulars, and be like, do you guys want to rent a room for the month? And
Right.
It's just going to be 15 people. You know, like we just trying to figure out like how to get some of the bills paid, you know, and we just, yeah, once we were able to open, it was like, okay. And then Airbnb helped out a lot. Like our rates were super affordable, and we got a bunch of people that came, like some really nice guests that came back and kept coming back, you know, and definitely younger, and it was a wild, tiring season, but
you got through it.
Yeah,
And that's
you know,
that's all
we're
right.
like already in December here. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, man,
That's it.
I like that you guys. So you got a little tour up there.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's awesome. I loved it.
Sweet.
Now, you know, they don't build places like this anymore at all. So
what's wild is like, you know, like all these moldings like would be like they were hand carved.
yeah,
Which is just wild, you know.
mm-hmm. Super sweet. Anyway,
Cool.
I'm gonna-
Hey,
I'm gonna head to bed.
yeah, me too. I am looking forward to it. I might take a little Advil. My landscaping muscles aren't what they used to be. But yeah, thanks for listening to my long story.
I'm down to listen to any history, man. It's super interesting. It was great listening and learning about this place.
Are
You get a
going
better
Are you
perspective.
going right to bed, or are you gonna be up for a little bit?
Depends what time it is right now. Probably close to bed. We're gonna be up pretty early. Probably out by like 8:30, 8 maybe even.
Okay.
So,
Well, hey, you can grab this, and then in the morning, if you wanna flip through it, it's pretty cool. Just throw it on the desk.
Sweet.
In the morning, but it maybe we'll hopefully see. I usually take my kids to school, but we'll have coffee. They're up so early. I'm not gonna set a pot. You're not gonna be up at 6 in the morning, right?
Probably not.
We'll have coffee out here by like 7. But yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff about the town, and just like the first people to build it, you know. So it's just like such a crazy time, you know, where like the guy that built the church over there, like he had a convenience store in Philly, and like developed gas street lighting,
Wow.
and so he became like Philadelphia Power. Some Irish dude, and he moved to Spring Lake. He was part of like the people that were like developed it, and then all these people from Ireland would hear about him, be like, "Oh, did you hear about Martin Maloney? He's like a millionaire in the late 1800s." And they would kind of search him out, you know, and like want to go like where he was,
Right.
and then he'd get them jobs in like hotels or whatever, and that's how like Spring Lake kind of became like the Irish Riviera.
There you go.
Kind of was always called.
So he brought them all here?
Yeah, like, it's like kind of what kicked it off, you know. It's like, and it's wow. That dude that told me the story about like the colluding together is the one that told me that story.
There you go.
You're like, dude, how do you find all this stuff out, man?
It just gets passed down.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, Dad.
All right, man. It was nice chatting with you. Have a good night, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
What's up, Chad?
Oh, shit.
Yo, you talk forever, bro.
Guys, I think I'm
Yo, the chat was good though.
I bet the chat was good. I couldn't even look at it, yo.
Yo, ugly god's in here.
Is he?
Yeah.
Ugly God, what's goody? It's my boy. Is he really in here? I'm looking for him.
He was. He said, "Yo, my boy."
Did he?
Yeah.
That's wild. Oh shit. I see someone said ugly God. Oh my god, he was in the chat. That's wild. Yo, guys, I just like that was the craziest shit ever, bro. That shit was wild. I thought I was stuck. Yo, when he started going back upstairs, I was getting nervous.
Yo, what the hell happened when you went upstairs? You guys started
Well, no,
upstairs,
because
and, like, you went to the room and turned the light on. And you backed up.
just turn the volume down that. But when we first were upstairs, he said that he needed to turn a light off. And he went upstairs to check that room and it was locked. So he came downstairs, grabbed the key, and he went back upstairs, opened the door, and turned the light off.
Oh, it was on?
Yeah, it was on. I don't know why it was on. Yo, guys, that was crazy. That was like the most patience.
So weird. Like,
that was like
you
the
followed him
most.
upstairs, and I kept seeing. I was like, "What the hell's going on?"
I don't know, cause I didn't want to go upstairs. I didn't want to go back upstairs, but he kept talking and he kept looking at me, and I was like,
It was so
okay.
strange.
I was nice, no, but I was really interested in what he had to say. I was dead serious, because
He was talking about every little fucking thing.
I know, but it was interesting.
The gun thing was cool.
The gun thing was the coolest thing that came out of his mouth. That was awesome. I was like, that's super cool move. Yeah, I mean, like the screens, I don't care. Take a look at this book. Anyway, guys, I can't believe you guys got to witness that shit. That was kind of wild. That was like the craziest thing I've ever seen. This is why I go to abandoned places because no one talks to you for that long. No, I'm just kidding. The guy was really nice. He gave me this book to look at. It has a bunch of like historical pictures of the surrounding area.
Everybody knows where we're at, by the way.
I mean, whatever. The guy was, you know, spitting facts. I don't know if he knew I was recording, but probably did. He probably was spitting all that knowledge because he knew I was recording. Ole. All right, people. I don't know about you guys. But I'm tired. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Carolina.
Until next time. Peace out.